A very good day to you. This is, of course, Relax Radio. This is me, Jamie, on the Chat Trap. And this is the show where we talk about all things interesting, where we trap you with the best of conversation. So if you want to get on board, if you want to join in on the conversation, all you got to do is go on ahead and call me on 07852 or very simply, you could just go on ahead and connect with me on our social media. Now, let me talk about our social media for a second because we are giving you the best of content to keep you updated 24/7, 365 on our social media. That is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and everything else out there. We go as Relax Radio, and we are spelled without the X in Relax because we are all about that positivity. We are all about making sure that you are hyped up and informed about every single thing that is going on. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio, but more importantly, make sure that you conversate with me, okay? That you get on board the show and that you let me know what you're thinking because I would absolutely love to hear from you and I would love to hear your opinion as well. Now, before we get on to the topic for today, which is this past couple minutes, actually, we've talked about a lot of different things. But right now, I do want to talk about Willow Smith for a second. She is somebody that I absolutely love. I personally love Willow Smith, Jaden Smith, all of them. They, I think, are some of the most incredible people out there just because they're super open, they share their lives, and they're just incredible people. With that being said, very recently, why I wanted to talk about Willow Smith per se is because very recently she came out as polyamorous and she spoke about it, and I did want to share this idea with you for a second, this idea or concept of polyamory. Now, with that being said, I completely understand that there's obviously going to be two perspectives. There's going to be, how you think is possibly not how I think, and that's perfectly fine. That's what makes us, human, and that's perfectly fine. If all of you have different opinions, that's absolutely all right. But I do want to talk about these different opinions that exist with regards to polyamory. And I just want to keep you informed with what exactly Willow Smith said according, with following her polyamory lifestyle. But before we get into this conversation, I want to remind you that, again, you can call me up. You obviously do have an opinion with regards to polyamory. If you're somebody that likes to be more monogamous, I would like to hear your opinion. Why do you think that is? Why do you personally support monogamy and not polygamy? I would love to hear from you. All you got to do is call me up, like I said before, on 07852 But before we get into that conversation, I want to remind you a little bit of what we do here at Relax Radio. We do a lot of interesting things. Trust me, we are a fun bunch that can talk about absolutely anything. So go on right ahead, get on board the show. But before we get on to the conversation, I just want you to take a look at this little video. All right, that was a little idea of what exactly happens here at Relax Radio. If you're just tuning in, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Much love going at you. Thank you for connecting with me, and thank you for being a part of the conversation. Now, if you're just tuning in, just a small recap, we are going to be talking about Willow Smith. And the reason I want to talk about Willow Smith is because she very recently came out as a polyamorous. Now, what exactly is polyamorous or polygamy? That is what I do want to talk to you about. Okay. Now, Willow Smith opened up about her polyamorous lifestyle on the Red Table Talk as she appeared on the show with her mother, Jada Pinkett Smith, and her grandmother, Adrienne Jones. She said that freedom is the cornerstone of her lifestyle and that she absolutely loves the kind of life that she's living, which I think is absolutely amazing. To each their own. And that is exactly what Willow Smith is doing. And okay, so basically, the singer and songwriter Willow Smith, who is the daughter of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, opened up about her very polyamorous lifestyle on this talk show. I did actually get to watch a few clips of it. And I guess, see, me as a person, I don't think I was as informed as I was about this lifestyle, about polygamy, about polyamorous lifestyle. But Jada's, along with her daughter Willow Smith, they do such a good job of introducing that concept to people who probably might not have an idea of it, which is why I did want to talk about it for a second. And she is 20 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Willow is 20 years old, and she opens up rather about being polyamorous and how she was introduced to the concept with a very non-sexual lens. And now that is what I found absolutely interesting, and that exactly is what I wanted to talk about. Now, Jada said that through the concept, she understands that this concept of polygamy or the concept of polyamory is not for everyone, but she says that she'll always support Willow Smith, that's her daughter, and as long as she's learning to have the greatest love affair with herself, that's all that matters, which I think is so beautiful and which I think is absolutely true at the end of the day. Now, if you're wondering, if you're, confused and you don't know what a polyamorous relationship is, well, then here it is, okay? Basically, a polyamorous relationship is one where the person involved can have intimate relationships with more than one partner. But I guess, as Willow keeps saying, the most important cornerstone of this entire relationship is that there needs to be informed consent with regards to every single person that is involved in this kind of relationship. Now, I understand that when I probably say this, if you are from a more conservative background or from a conservative context, this kind of idea is not what society generally regards to as normal, because society generally regards monogamous relationships as the accepted norm. Anything other than monogamy can actually be seen as, I personally know areas that people feel like anything other than monogamy is immoral and even illegal in certain cultures around the world. But see, at the end of the day, Willow says that with polyamory, she feels like she's found the main foundation, and that essentially is freedom. And she says that she's able to create this relationship style that works for her, and not just stepping into, and she doesn't want to just step into this monogamous lifestyle because that's what everyone says, especially around her. Everybody says that's what she should do. She says it's not, she doesn't feel like it's the right thing for her, which is why she's chosen this polyamorous lifestyle or way of living. So she says, she structures the way how she approaches relationships according to her personal opinions, and this is essentially what she's comfortable with, what she can be the best version of herself, and which is why she chooses polygamy or polyamory over anything else. Now, with that being said, see, what I found very interesting in this entire conversation is how Willow explains that polyamory isn't necessarily centered on multiple sexual partners. She says that it's more about having love for multiple people and their personalities or whatever, which I found is absolutely interesting, to say the least, just because I feel like this society in general, when you hear the word polygamy, it just means that you have multiple sexual partners and it's just, a fun lifestyle. Whereas Willow says that that's not essentially true. She just has a lot of love to give. And I guess that's perfectly justified, right? It's perfectly fine. That's what she's comfortable with. And, just the reason I wanted to bring this up was to show you, or was to inform you, that every single person has different lifestyles or has different likings and has different ways of living their best life. See, at the end of the day, I completely understand that you probably have an opinion about things like polygamy, about things like monogamy. But I guess one thing that we should understand, or one thing that we should remember when we are living in a very diverse culture where people are not afraid to speak up anymore. Living in a culture like this in the 21st century, in today's day and age, I think what's most important is that we learn to respect other people's opinions and respect other people's choices that they make in their life. So what I'm basically trying to say is, if you are not okay with something like polygamy or something like polyamory, well, you don't have to do it, but that doesn't essentially mean that somebody else who's more comfortable with that sort of lifestyle doesn't have to do it also. Do you get where I'm coming from? I basically want you to be as accepting as possible. Like I said before, to each their own, okay? So I always tell you, it's perfectly fine to have your own perspective. It's perfectly fine to formulate your opinion, as long as you don't shove it down somebody else's throat, or you don't infringe on somebody else's privacy or freedom to do whatever they want. Now, with that being said, I just want to remind you, at the end of the day, we only live such a short period of time on this earth. And what's the point living it with so much hate? Just, make sure that to love people as much as possible, show love, show compassion. And I guess that's the only way that we as a race, we as humanity, can actually progress forward. So make sure that when you do tackle with such controversial, I would say, topics like polygamy, like monogamy, just remember that everybody has their own opinions, and that's okay. Just be accepting of these different opinions, and try to understand people as much as possible. Try to understand where people are coming from. And I believe life then just gets so much less complicated. Now, with that being said, it's about that time that I head on out of here, but don't worry, because we got Tim and Matthew coming up, and they will definitely keep you entertained. They are extremely good company. They will talk about everything trending right now, today in UK and around the world. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. But with that being said, I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Hope you have the most amazing day ahead.